Let's go over some on-chain metrics, a technical analysis of Ethereum, and some trade entries. Hey guys, welcome back, and if you're new here, we do a Bitcoin and Ethereum analysis every week, along with some other altcoins. We cover the on-chain metrics, the market sentiment, and then do a review of trades that our team at Coin Insights puts together. If you're interested in joining a trading community, ours is free and it's listed in the description down below. I'm usually fairly active on there, so if you guys just wanted to chat, ask me questions, or review charts together, or even vote on topics for me to cover in these videos, then please check that out. I've also gained access to another funded account, so if you're interested in me trading this portfolio live, please donate me a subscribe, as I'll look to schedule a daily live stream to show you guys how to grow a portfolio once I reach 1,000 subs on this channel. And as always, I'll create timestamps for the video for your guys' convenience, and if you guys want to skip along to the trade entries, I'll have those marked out for you guys. But without further ado, let's get started. So the first on-chain metric I wanted to cover was the liquidity heatmap. This is relevant to us because we like to trade alongside larger institutions, whales, and other larger traders. So therefore, we like to use liquidity heatmaps as traders or institutions who have a lot more liquidity require the liquidity for their transactions to become more efficient. And since larger players are really the ones who determine the momentum of the market, they'll often shift trends to areas of high liquidity. So these areas of high liquidity that you see on the chart act almost as price magnets. And I want you guys to notice that we do have two areas of high liquidity that I'm looking at right now, which is this level between 1400 and 1200, and this other area around 1000. This next metric I want to cover is the liquidation levels of Ethereum. The bigger the circle means the larger the liquidation event. And you can see with a lot of these manipulative moves caused by smart money, you can see that they have wiped out a lot of both long and short liquidations. So this is what is called accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. A lot of times before you get a sensible direction of the markets, you will see a wipe of a fair amount of liquidity, as this is the main driver for making profits for larger institutions and larger traders. This turquoise color and darker green circles are people who are taking higher leverage plays, whereas the dark blue is lower leverage plays such as 25x, where the green and turquoise is 50 and 100x. You can see that the stops have been a lot more sensitive here. When people are risking this much liquidity with such a tight stop, oftentimes price will be attracted to move into these areas to wipe out the liquidity here. We will get to how that is pertinent to our trades here shortly. The next metric I wanted to cover was the number of addresses with balances greater than 32 ETH. So since we like to trade alongside larger institutions and just bigger players, we like to see where the entities that are holding a substantial amount of ETH is moving their Ethereum. So if we zoom in here, you can see that larger players have actually been dumping their Ethereum on this grind up. This is a fairly bearish sign, but the fact that we do have some sort of reversing right here could mean that larger players are starting to scoop up a little bit more Ethereum, and we could see another push up here. The net position of Ethereum on all exchanges, the trend has been taking Ethereum off exchanges, although the trend is starting to decline, and people are starting to put their Ethereum back onto exchanges, which is a fairly bearish sign. You can see that when people are putting their Ethereum back on exchanges and the trend is going upwards, noted by this trend right here, you can see that price action has actually diverged in the opposite direction. That is an event that we could possibly observe here shortly. So I'll quickly cover a macro of Ethereum before getting to a lower time frame analysis. So the macro hasn't really changed for Ethereum. I still think there are a lot of confluences up in this area. There is a lot of liquidity to be wiped up here. There are two weekly fair value gaps, the golden pocket and this daily order block that is this up here, alongside a larger time frame broken base. But it seems like for now, we've just been rejected off of the range high after this drop. And in my opinion, I don't think we'll see a continuation of price action up into these levels before liquidity is wiped down below. Therefore, the two levels that I mapped out on the liquidation heat map are these boxes of yellow. And I believe these two levels are the absolute bottom that can be tested before we see a larger move up. But Ethereum can possibly hold these levels right here, as this has been a long-term support. And we also have a weekly key level here. So if we do get a weekly candle close below this low, we are going to see a retap into supply and larger moves down, probably retesting a lot of these lower levels. Whereas if we can hold above this long-term support and this weekly key level, and we can just see a tap into this order block and a move up, we're probably going to see these levels a lot sooner. If this weekly key level breaks, another bearish case is tapping into the daily order block right here, tapping into this zone of demand in this broken base. If this level is not held, and then this is the next level I will be looking for, where we do have a untouched broken base here as well, on top of a very high level of liquidity down here. So in my opinion, if the markets are fairly bearish, I would be looking more in this area for a long trade. But it is possible that if the markets are extremely bearish, that we could see lower levels here and see this major low and range low retested again. We do also have relatively equal lows right here and right here, which are also magnets for price action to go down and wick out all the liquidity of anyone who went long here. Another theory is that we could see some sort of head and shoulders pattern before we retest the neckline and see a pushback up into the upper levels of the range. Overall, a lot of my higher time frame bias has not changed within the last week, and as always, as price action develops, I'll keep you guys updated every week on Ethereum. Now let's go down to a lower time frame to see what's going on. So Ethereum has seen a lot of volatility here. We've had accumulation of liquidity before a manipulative move both ways, wiping out both long and short positions before showing its true direction. So it seems like the true direction for Ethereum is, honestly, it seems like it's just sideways. If you guys saw my Bitcoin video from yesterday, I would definitely go check that out, as Ethereum is probably likely going to do the same thing. What I said was that we'll probably see just ranging here until the weekend, and probably just see, flatlining the weekend, and usually towards the end of the weekend, like Saturday night or Sunday night of New York time, oftentimes you'll see the volatility, you'll see a swing, a wipe of liquidity from the built up liquidity from within this range, and then you'll see the true direction of the price action. So in my opinion, on the lower time frame, there are a few levels that have not been tapped yet. We have a bunch of weak highs right here, and if you guys follow my channel, I show you guys how a lot of weak highs like this are usually wiped out, as they are just pockets of liquidity as well. So I can definitely see us wiping out all the liquidity here, possibly tapping just into this golden pocket and coming back down. But likely we'll go a little bit higher, as there are untapped broken bases, along with the fib level 0.786 and a small order block on the 1 hour right here. So the short-term bullish case is that we do push up here to fill up some of this fair value gap and all the leftover liquidity from this broken base. And the bearish case is that we don't fill this up just quite yet. We actually go down to retest this long-term support and weekly key level, tapping into this daily order block down here. So if I were to look at trade entries, I definitely would observe price action. I probably wouldn't set limits just yet, but the two trade areas I would be looking for is something that looks like this, with price action and targets coming down to this long-term support. In the long trade I'd be looking for is this long-term support down here. Stops ideally underneath this order block, as that would invalidate your trade. Although I would look for how price action develops and find entries accordingly. I will definitely keep you guys updated on how I plan to take these trades, but this trade will probably go to retesting the range high right here, which is this red line. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if there are any other altcoins that you guys want me to take a look at. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.